Hi there, this is Daphne Early, and I'm going to walk you through Digital Marketing 101. Let's go ahead. One of the biggest myths about digital marketing is that it just feels big, impossible. There's no way you could possibly do it. You hear about social media, Facebook, you hear about websites, and all of a sudden it feels like it's an awful lot for you to take on. But really, digital marketing is easy. Just need to take a step back and understand that at its core, it's just marketing. It really comes down to just being able to do marketing online. The advantages you have of doing digital marketing online is that you're actually able to track and see your users. Not all the time, but a good portion of the time, you can actually see the users and you can see how they're engaging with your content, which gives you immediate feedback that you can respond to. And that's what makes digital marketing so incredibly powerful. So now let's go ahead. Let's jump into some of the details now that you understand that you can easily get digital marketing up and running for your business. So let's start with the basics. Where should you really begin? Well, I like to say, dream it, achieve it, define your marketing goals for success. That's where you want to start. So really you need to identify where you're going to be and what you're trying to do. Are you trying to reach a lot of people? Are you trying to share? What you'll find, and what's really interesting about actually all of this online jazz, is that 90% of consumers research online before buying. So even if you're a brick and mortar store, it's worthwhile for you to be online. And that can be incredibly helpful once you begin to realize who your persona is and which channels they're in. Because there are some times when maybe they're not in all channels. Maybe they don't browse websites regularly, but they're really, really into Facebook. Or maybe they're on Snapchat all the time because they're the younger generation. It all depends on who that audience is. And that's why that is key to figuring out where you actually want to serve up the right content to them and how you're going to implement your digital marketing strategy. All right. So now you've got your strategy kind of set up, you got your goals, and you also have defined who that audience is. Now, one of the things that can be really helpful is just a wake-up call, looking at your competitors. Are they crushing it online? And are you? Examining the digital marketing strategies of your top 3 competitors can give you a ton of insights into what are the channels they're in, what messages are residing. In addition, it can help you recognize their strengths and weaknesses in comparison to your own. So I recommend for everybody to create a simple strategy to bridge any gaps and enhance your competitive advantage. You can, again, use ChatGPT and AI to actually ask it to do a market analysis of the top 3 leaders in this area. Or you can actually ask it to do an analysis of this individual company and what that brand is that they're promoting. Those things can come back and be incredibly helpful. Just asking it to do a simple SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, can then give you a competitive advantage to figure out where you want to go next. And the best part is that with the AI, you can even ask it to do that. Now, one of the other key things you're going to want to master is the mission, the market, the message, the media. These 4 M's are really key. So you want to understand what you're marketing, what problem you're trying to solve for your customer. You want to understand your target market and their online habits. If they never buy online, you're not likely to change that. It might be a combination of both online and in person. And then you want to really work on creating engaging messages for that audience. You want to come up with several different messages. That will then allow you, looking at these different messages, to figure out which one's landing the right way. And you'll get some pretty immediate responses if you choose the right channel to engage that target market. If you don't, and you don't see any engagement, then you know you're in the wrong channel. And it's as simple as shifting to another channel. The other key thing for you to keep in mind as you're working through this is that 64% of marketers are now using AI or automation. So most likely your competitor is. And if your competitor is, then you want to make sure that you're keeping up to speed with them. So let's go ahead and let's talk about how do you go beyond the demographics? How do you uncover some of those hidden desires? You can conduct surveys, you can do interviews, you can just go talk to your customers. Those are all great ways. You can also analyze your web analytics. You want to recognize the emotional needs, the aspirations, and in particular, the pain points they may have. If they are moving through a typical buying cycle and they're struggling, this is something you want to kind of consider. Why do they stop here? If you have a lot of people who are moving through your marketing funnel, they look at all your ads, they get to your website, but they never purchase something. You may need to deep dive into what is going on that website. Why are they not completely completing the entire cycle? And as I've noted just a second ago, that's why 53% of marketers say data-driven marketing has a significant impact. If you're able to see where they started, where they went, and where they dropped off, you're then able to see where there are potentially problems that you can solve. Now let's talk about some of the other key things. The other key elements are really making sure that you use words that convert and speak their language, and you try to win their hearts. There needs to, as much as possible, be an engagement that's really about their words, not your words. So you want to utilize clear, concise, audience-centered language. If it's a term that they use, they're more likely to understand it. You want to emphasize features and benefits that really cater to that audience's requirements. So if they have a problem they're trying to solve, you want to help them understand how you're solving it. And you want to really incorporate compelling calls to action that help guide the readers and the individuals on to the next piece. When we then think of your website, because most companies will set up a website, there are a couple of key factors for you to keep in mind. Optimizing your website for user friendliness, search visibility, and specifically for engagement are truly important. So with the majority of people actually viewing websites on their mobile devices, it's key that you make sure you have a mobile-friendly website and that it is a user-friendly design. If they can't see it within the first few seconds, they're going to click away. You also want to optimize the web content structure for relevant keywords. This is so that when someone's searching on Google or Bing, you actually come up to the top as having relevant content. And you also want to produce engaging content to retain your visitors. Some sort of content that will draw them back in so that they have another reason to visit the website, not just a first time, not just about us content. Great to have, but it's not going to pull somebody in for a second or third time to come back. That's why it's really important to make sure that you understand that 68% of online experiences begin with a search engine, meaning typically Google. And with that point, I would just say you need to make sure that if you're expecting a lot of traffic, that you have implemented SEO. So let me just go through a couple of SEO secrets that are revealed, because you really want to get found on online search, just like, a hidden treasure. You want to monitor your website's search ranking. You can actually look this up. There are tools for you to monitor it. You want to regularly assess and adjust your SEO strategy according to performance and changing algorithms. There are great tools out there that can help you figure out how to show up in Google search. And then once you get that, you really want to focus in on the stories that captivate. You want to try out various content formats, blog posts, articles, videos. Videos are taking over. They are now exceeding the number of websites that are out there. The key to creating, though, great content is making sure that it's valuable, informative content. It can't simply be you talking at the people. There has to be some back and forth. There needs to be some opportunity for them to understand what you're trying to do. It can't simply be a brochure online. And then you want to maintain a consistent publishing schedule, especially if you're on social media. And that's a great area in which you can promote your content. So think of your blog or your website as your main body of content, and then think of your social media channels as opportunities to drive to that content. And similarly with your emails, they can drive to those deeper stories that help captivate. Which brings me to another point, social media. Wow, sometimes it can feel like it's a butterfly unleashed, right? Overwhelming. But how do you connect, engage on the right platforms is really key. You don't need to be on every platform, but you do need to identify the social media platforms where your target audience is most active. You need to create engaging content, and you need to respond promptly and authentically to comments and messages. You can also do fun things like run contests and promotions to engage the audience and expand your reach. Those are just a couple of ideas at a high level of what you should be thinking about when you're thinking about social media. Where are they at? How can I engage with them? What can I share? And of course, you don't want to forget email marketing. I love this quote, email marketing is the ATM of any online business. And what business at this point isn't online? So email marketing is really key to helping you understand your customers and connect with them and also draw them back into your content. So let's talk a little bit about email magic. How do you nurture leads with personalized touches, not spam? It really is key to make sure that the touches are personalized as much as possible and provide relevant content. So you want to provide valuable incentives, email lists. If you want to boost the signups, look at ebooks, discounts, other information that you can give out in exchange for the sign up. Next, you want to customize your email content with subscriber names, potentially in the subject line, and really pertinent details. And then you want to make sure you incorporate explicit calls to action in your email messages. If it doesn't have a call to action, then you need to be very clear on what is the goal of that email to make sure that you're actually reaching the goals and it's reaching their inbox. And then, of course, another question I get all the time, especially with social media and other places, is should I go for organic or paid? And I always say you need to choose your weapons wisely. Analyze your budget, look at your timeline, look at your desired outcomes to choose the most suitable approach. It's not a one size fits all. Sometimes you can get just as much out of organic as paid. The best approaches utilize a blend of both organic and paid strategies to build out a comprehensive strategy. I like to think of it this way. Organic content builds trust. Paid content moves faster. And that's kind of what you see. So that's two different ways to kind of think about what are you trying to do and how quickly are you trying to accomplish it. I think this is also a really interesting tell of one of the things that have shifted over the last few years. There's a lot of talk about, are you doing B2B or B2C? And there's a common misnomer that B2B communication focuses on logic, business benefits, while B2C is on emotion and storytelling. The reality is this has shifted a ton in the last few years, and now it's not always clear what is B2B, what is B2C in terms of logic, business benefits versus emotion and storytelling. Sometimes the B2B has become a combination of a mix of those things. So what do you want to do? You want to make sure whether you're doing B2B or B2C that you are speaking their language. And B2B is business to business. B2C is business to consumer. And you want to make sure you're going to win their business. So you want to customize your messaging and content to align with the unique requirements and preferences of your audience. And again, opt for channels that make sense and are suitable for the impact that you're engaging your target audience in. That doesn't necessarily mean that if you are doing B2B communication, you can't use Facebook, but you want to make sure that you're using the right language to win their business on Facebook. And similarly, that if you're choosing to use a different channel, that it is truly resonating with the people that you're targeting. Now let's talk about the big rage, which is data and analytics. How do you move from blindfolded to visionary? There are an incredible amount of great tools out there to monitor your website traffic, your conversions, your engagement on social media. There are so many that I could list. But really, this all comes back to the goals. What are you trying to accomplish? If you're trying to accomplish them, then you should really look at the different tools. Oftentimes, the tools will have the different metrics for how you can measure. And that's where the data and analytics comes into play, and being able to then work through that channel and that message to figure out the next best step. All right. One last point here. Let's just go through the 10 key takeaways to conquering digital marketing. One, really just let's demystify it. Let's strategize. You can conquer that digital marketing. The second is set goals, track measurable success. You can go through and you can iterate on things. You really want to uncover the audience needs and make sure that you craft a resonant message. That messaging really is key. You want to analyze competitors, identify strategic opportunities. Those things will give you that competitive advantage you're looking for. And finally, focus on the mission, the market, the message, the media. Those are really 4 simple ways for you to think of your framework. Insights, your data insights are going to fuel your decisions and your actions. And then you're going to be continuously learning. And this really is key to getting to the next step. All right. So that is Digital Marketing 101. Now you should know the basics. You should understand how you can actually tackle digital marketing and how to work through the market, the message, the media, and your mission. If you have any questions or you'd like to learn more about digital marketing, feel free to follow my channel or follow me on LinkedIn. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.